Assassin's Creed II is a 2009 action-adventure video game developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. It is the second major installment in the Assassin's Creed series, a sequel to 2007's Assassin's Creed, and the first chapter in the Ezio trilogy. The game was first released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in November 2009, and was later made available on Microsoft Windows in March 2010 and OS X in October 2010 and January 2011. Several minor game-related features could be redeemed on Play, and 3 downloadable expansion packs were released on Xbox Live. The plot is set in a fictional history of real-world events and follows the centuries-old struggle between the assassins, who fight for peace with free will, and the Templars, who desire peace through control. The framing story is set in the 21st century and follows Desmond Miles as he relives the genetic memories of his ancestor Ezio, Auditor da Firenze. The main narrative takes place at the height of the Renaissance in Italy during the 15th and early 16th century. Players can explore Florence, Venice, Tuscany and Forlì as they guide Ezio on a quest for vengeance against those responsible for betraying his family. The primary focus is to utilize the player's combat and stealth abilities, as Desmond begins to uncover the mysteries left behind by an ancient race known as the First Civilization in the hope of ending the conflict between the Assassins and Knights Templar. Using a newly updated Anvil game engine, Assassin's Creed II began development shortly after the release of Assassin's Creed. The game received critical acclaim from video game publications, its biggest-selling game of 2009-2010, and has sold more than 12 million copies as of throughout 2010 and has an overall 14+ million sold copies. The PC version was met with some criticism in relation to the digital rights management system and thus had the always-online DRM permanently removed. The game spawned a follow-up, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and its direct sequel, Assassin's Creed Revelations gameplay. Players directly control the on-screen character through a third-person perspective and can control the camera, allowing for a 360 degrees view of their surroundings. The game takes place in an open-world environment with non-linear gameplay, allowing the player to roam freely within several regions of late 15th century Italy such as Venice, Florence, Forlì, San Gimignano, Rome and the Tuscan countryside. The Animus 2.0, a new version of the machine of the same name present in Assassin's Creed, provides in-game context for changes and additions to several game elements. A database is also available, providing extra historical information about key landmarks, characters and services that the player encounters. The health system has been made more dynamic, with synchronization to the Animus and causing the character to recover only from minor injuries. More grievous injuries require visiting a street-side doctor or use of medicine. The player may now swim in water, and eagle vision, the ability to identify specific people and landmarks, can now be used in third-person view and while moving. A young Leonardo da Vinci is present in the game, aiding the player by creating new weapons from translated codex pages that Altair, the original game's main character, left behind for future assassins' analysis and insight. Within the game, the player will be able to use Leonardo's flying machine during one mission. The player also has the ability to control a carriage in one level, and can row gondolas, as well as ride horses at any point in the game where they are readily available between towns and cities. The setting of the various places the player may go to have been made more detailed and in-depth. Civilians sometimes cough or sneeze. Additionally, the player can hire different groups of NPCs, such as mercenaries, courtesans, or thieves. These groups can be used to fight, distract, or lure guards, respectively. A day and night cycle has been added to the game, giving the game more of a sense of time. In addition to setting missions and events at certain times of the day, there are many ways to interact with NPCs. Money thrown to the ground, or a corpse carried and then deposited on the ground, may also serve as a distraction for both guards and peasants. There are also several different types of enemies, some more agile or stronger than others, and some of which will actively search hiding places where Ezio was last seen. The combat system is more complex than that of its predecessor, with the ability to disarm opponents using counter-attacks while unarmed. If the player steals an enemy's weapon, it is possible to follow up with an attack that instantly kills the enemy. Da Vinci provides the player with specialized weaponry, such as the dual hidden blades, poison blade and the miniature wheel-lock firearm, which are all based on schematics found in Altair's Codex pages. Generic swords, cutlasses, maces, axes and daggers can all be purchased from vendors in each city. The player can also pick up any weapon on the ground or use improvised weapons, such as brooms or halves of a spear. These weapons are used just like normal blunt weapons. In addition, players are able to purchase artwork for their villa, obtain new armor as the game progresses, and even dye Ezio's clothing with a number of different colors. Other equipment includes larger pouches to carry more throwing knives and medicine. 6 additional weapons can be unlocked by connecting a PSP with Assassin's Creed Bloodlines to the PS3. The Auditor family's countryside villa, located in Monteregione, acts as Ezio's headquarters. The surrounding property can be upgraded, drawing income for the player's use. There are several outlets for using currency, with vendors selling items such as medicine, poison, weapons, repairs, upgrades, paintings, and clothing dyes. When these shops are renovated, Ezio receives discounts at the shops on the goods they sell. Purchasing weaponry, armor sets and artwork also contributes to increasing the villa's overall worth, in turn generating more income for Monteregione. There is now a broader array of methods for hiding or blending in the area. One can dive underwater to break guards' line of sight, and blending may be performed with any group of people, rather than only a specific type. The game features a notoriety system, with guards more alert to Ezio's presence depending on his behavior, location, and current mission. This infamy can be reduced through bribery, removing wanted posters, or assassinating corrupt officials. The missions in the game now have an expanded variety, with different structuring. For example, a mission may have the objective to escort someone, but may change to a chase and assassination. Investigation is less explicit, and instead missions may follow people or a narrative. There are roughly 200 missions in the game, about half a part of the main storyline, while the rest are side quests which need not be completed in order to finish the game's main storyline. Cities also contain hidden locations such as catacombs and caves. Exploring these locations eventually rewards the player with an Assassin's Seal. The collection of all 6 seals allows the player to unlock the Armor of Altair in a concealed section of the villa. Like Assassin's Creed, characters based on historical figures are present in the game, including Leonardo da Vinci, Niccolo Machiavelli, Caterina Sforza, Bartolomeo d'Alviano, Lorenzo de' Medici, the Pazzi family, the Barbarigo family and Pope Alexander VI. Locations in the game include the Tuscany region, the Apennine Mountains, the Romagna region, Venice and Rome. Specific landmarks include St. Mark's Basilica, the Grand Canal, the Little Canal, the Rialto Bridge, Santa Maria del Fiore, the Sistine Chapel, Santa Croce, Palazzo Vecchio, Ponte Vecchio, and Santa Maria Novella. Synopsis. Plot: Assassin's Creed 2 begins immediately after the events of the first game in 2007. Desmond Miles is still trapped by Abstergo Industries after being forced to use the Animus device to revisit genetic memories of the assassin Altair ibn Layahad, and has discovered prophetic warnings from Subject 16 describing the end of the world. He is soon rescued by Lucy Stillman, a mole for the assassins within Abstergo, who takes him to meet 2 other assassins, historian Sean Hastings and computer expert Rebecca Crane. They request that Desmond use their version of the Animus, dubbed the Animus 2.0, to relive memories of another assassin, Ezio Auditor da Firenze, to train Desmond in the ways of the assassins through the bleeding effect of the Animus. It starts with the birth of Ezio. Ezio's memories begin during the Renaissance in the 15th century, where his family is ensnared in a political plot, and his father and brothers are hanged. Ezio, following his father Giovanni's last advice, finds his father's assassin tools, and flees the city with his mother and sister to the safety of his uncle Mario's villa in the countryside. Mario assists Ezio in discovering the people behind the conspiracy, the search leading Ezio from Florence to San Gimignano, Foli, Venice and eventually to Rome. As he identifies and assassinates more and more political figures, Ezio also gains several allies, including Niccolò Machiavelli and Leonardo da Vinci, the latter of whom helps Ezio improve his equipment using schematics found in Altair's Codex pages. Eventually, Ezio identifies the mastermind of the plot, the Spaniard Rodrigo Borgia, who ultimately sought to bring down the Medici family in Florence with the help of the Pazzi family and the Barbarigo family in Venice. Ezio finds Borgia in possession of the apple, a similar piece of Eden that Altair had recovered centuries ago, and learns that Borgia believes himself to be the prophet that will lead the Templars to a fabled vault. Ezio is able to confront Borgia with the help of his allies and recover the apple, but Borgia flees before he can be killed. Ezio's allies reveal they are all assassins, and see Ezio as their prophet, allowing him to join their ranks. During his exposure, Desmond finds himself briefly struck by a puzzling memory of Altair and his lover, a former Templar named Maria Thorpe, who became pregnant with his child, Darim. Desmond also finds various glyphs left by Subject 16 in the Animus, which, when decoded and assembled, form a brief video of a man and woman, Adam and Eve, running through a futuristic setting called Eden, with a piece of Eden. The video ends with the ASCII codes for Eden. The video implies that Adam and Eve were not cast out of the Garden of Eden, but rather stole a piece of Eden being used to control humanity before escaping. After this memory, the modern assassins discover that several years of Ezio's memories are inaccessible from the Animus. Desmond can only revisit those starting in 1499, where Ezio and the assassins plan to attack Borgia at Vatican City. Ezio corners Borgia and strikes him down, but refuses to kill him, as he knows that it will not bring back his family. Ezio uses the apple and the papal cross, and discovers the entrance to the vault. Inside, he is astounded when a holographic figure, calling herself Minerva, appears, speaking directly to Desmond and those monitoring him in 2012. She explains that she was a part of a far more advanced society that initially coexisted along with the early humans on Earth before they faced each other in war. A global catastrophe occurred that nearly wiped out both sides, and the survivors joined together to construct temples across the Earth to allow humans to prevent a similar catastrophe in the future. Before the hologram disappears, she warns Desmond, by name, that the rest is up to you. Desmond and Ezio are both equally confused and shocked at Minerva's words and appearance. Shortly after recovering this memory, Desmond and the others are forced to flee with the Animus 2.0 from their location as Abstergo troops surround it. There, they encounter Warren Vidic, who flees when Desmond and Lucy deal with the troops. As the team heads towards a new safe house, Lucy explains that there are newly discovered weaknesses in the Earth's magnetic field. A solar flare striking this weakness would cause a similar level of global destruction as described by Minerva. Desmond resolves to help the assassins find these temples, and prepares to re-enter the Animus, knowing that Ezio may hold the answers they seek. Though Ezio's story seemingly continues after this in the open-world environment of Italy, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood starts immediately after the events of Assassin's Creed II. Development Ubisoft's Yves Guillemot officially confirmed that Assassin's Creed 2 was in development on November 26, 2008, during the company's financial performance report. This was followed by Michael Pachter speculating in Game Trailer's bonus round that game would change its setting to the events of the French Revolution, which turned out to be false. A promotional video was released by Ubisoft on April 6 showing a skull, some hidden blade designs, and Leonardo's flying machine on a scroll. On April 16, Game Informer released details of the game, including pictures of Ezio. A new teaser trailer was released, and the game was officially announced by Ubisoft. In an interview in May 2009, Sébastien Puel stated that the development team working on Assassin's Creed 2 had increased to 450 members, and the development team's size had tripled since the first game. On June 1, 2009, Ubisoft released a new 4-minute cinematic Assassin's Creed 2 trailer at E3. On June 2, 2009, Ubisoft revealed the first live gameplay demo, lasting 6 minutes, at the Sony press conference. Game Trailers features an exclusive developer walkthrough from E3 2009. In an interview with Game Trailers, Ubisoft Montreal creative director Patrice Desilets stated Desmond would be doing more than walking around and discovering clues. It was announced at the Assassin's Creed panel at Comic-Con 2009 that a mini-series of 3 episodes, Assassin's Creed Lineage, would be released showing the events leading up to the game and the history of Ezio and his father Giovanni. It was also revealed that the humorous Danny Wallace would be voicing a new character in Assassin's Creed 2, Sean Hastings, a sarcastic historian assisting Desmond. The character's face would also be modeled after him. Actress Kristen Bell returned for the character of Lucy Stillman.